Have you ever wondered how scientists reconstruct dinosaur noises, and what does a nuclear weapon have to do with it? Hello everyone, you are watching DINOMACHINE channel, and today I will tell you about methods paleontologists use to understand how dinosaurs sounded. I will also show you the most up-to-date sounds of Parasaurolophus, Ankylosaurus and T-Rex. While working on Jurassic Park, sound engineer Gary Reedstorm faced a difficult task. He had to give a voice to animals that became extinct millions of years ago, and he approached this problem creatively. He used sounds made by elephants, crocodiles, lions, and even the growl of his own dog to make the voice of a T-Rex. The result became the golden standard of how dinosaurs should sound in movies. Even now, when we create animatronic models of dinosaurs and even synapsids, we are faced with the problem of giving them a voice, the correct one. Everyone is so used to them roaring in movies, but to a greater extent, these are just inventions of sound engineers. But thanks to science, nowadays there are a lot of new studies that shed light on what dinosaurs might have sounded like. Reedstrom could allow himself to be creative when he had to give a catchy roar to a dinosaur, but scientists have to stick to the facts. For a long time, the question of what dinosaurs sounded like remained unanswered. The main problem in reconstructing their noises was that the soft tissues could not be preserved to this day in any way. Another problem was that the sounds that animals make are closely related to their behavior. In the case with dinosaurs, scientists could only speculate about how they behaved. The big step in research was made when feathered dinosaur fossils were discovered in China. This confirmed the hypothesis that dinosaurs are the ancestors of birds. Therefore, scientists started thinking, if we reconstruct the evolution of the development of the vocal organs of birds, then we can get an answer to how dinosaurs sounded. Could they really tweet? Another close relative of dinosaurs that has survived to this present day is the crocodile. Crocodiles have a larynx with which they can make such sounds. It's a vocal organ located at the throat. Most vertebrates have it, but birds in the process of evolution got their own unique vocal organ, the syrinx. It is located at the base of the bird's trachea and allows them to make sounds without using the vocal cords. Because the syrinx is located deep in the chest, it makes sound more efficiently. Thanks to it, even small birds can make such loud noises. Surely you are wondering, if birds are direct descendants of dinosaurs, then why analyze the sounds that crocodiles make at all? The problem is that scientists are not completely sure exactly when syrinx developed. The oldest syrinx fossil was discovered by Dr. Clark. It belonged to an ancient bird that lived 67 million years ago. That is, to date, no syrinx has been found in any large dinosaur. Crocodiles and dinosaurs had a common ancestor. As I said, crocodiles do not have a syrinx, and their common ancestor probably did not have one either, so it could have appeared either in dinosaurs or in their descendants, birds. Studies of the skulls allowed paleontologists to reconstruct what their inner ears were like. Several fossils have also revealed some of the fine bones that help dinosaurs' ears function. And based on these studies, it was hypothesized that dinosaurs had acute hearing. They also conducted various studies of birds and alligators to confirm it. They put on alligators special headphones and began to turn on various sounds, observing the activity of nerve cells. Based on this, a neural map was compiled. It was revealed that sound signals are processed not in the sound cortex, but in the midbrain tectum, which is one of the most ancient parts of the brain. The neural map of birds turned out to be similar. This common feature suggests that these maps first appeared in the common ancestor of dinosaurs, birds and crocodiles. It is extremely unlikely that all of them could have developed the same approach for calculating the position of sound sources independently of each other. As a result of these studies, scientists came to the conclusion that dinosaurs had acute hearing. Based on this, it can be assumed that many of them could make a variety of sounds to communicate with each other or scare away enemies. The first reconstruction of the dinosaur's voice was attempted by employees of the Sandia National Laboratory. The work was carried out jointly with the Museum of Natural History and Science of the state of New Mexico. Initially, Sandia researchers were engaged in nuclear weapons, but their knowledge was also useful for peaceful purposes. In 1995, a fossilized and well-preserved Parasaurolophus skull was found, and paleontologists turned to the center to analyze the find using the most modern methods. If you want to know more about this dinosaur, there is already a video dedicated to it on this channel. Soon, a project to study fossils was launched within the walls of Sandia. Paleontologist Tom Williamson and programmer Carl Diger took over the case. The skull of the Parasaurolophus had a peculiar shape. There was a long tubular crest on the back of this dinosaur's head. With this in mind, the total length of the fossil was approximately 140 centimeters. The scientists did not stop there and reconstructed the missing parts of the skull and soft tissues. This reconstruction helped them to conclude that by closing the nasal valves, the Parasaurolophus redirected the exhaled air into the pipes on the crest. However, scientists have not been able to determine whether Parasaurolophus had vocal cords. Therefore, its voice was synthesized in two versions and it sounded like this. Perhaps T-Rex is the most famous dinosaur, and the question of how it actually sounded has been haunting scientists for a long time. Naturalists Chris Packham and Professor Julia Clark tried to answer it. Dr. Clark has theorized that many dinosaurs made sounds with their mouths closed. Modern examples of closed-mouth vocalization include crocodile growls and ostrich calls. To do this, they inflated the esophagus or tracheal sacs. The resulting sound resembles a low noise. When recreating the voice of T-Rex, scientists took a basis of sounds made by the Eurasian bittern and the Chinese alligator. The researchers also took into account how the size of Tyrannosaurus could affect their roar. As a result, they got this sound. Such a low-frequency sound could spread over long distances. Nowadays, elephants use such communication. You can agree it sounds much scarier than the T-Rex growl in the movies. In 2023, a new study was published. Scientists have analyzed the fossil of the larynx of the relative of Ankylosaurus, which was 80 million years old. It was discovered by paleontologist Junki Yoshida. As a result of the conducted research, it was found that the dinosaur's vocal organ was similar to the syrinx. Yoshida and colleagues studied two parts of the dinosaur's larynx that supported the muscles involved in opening the airways. Scientists compared the proportions of these parts with the larynx of other animals, including crocodiles, turtles, and geckos. The part at the base of the ankylosaurid larynx was larger than that of other animals. This gave the dinosaur the ability to open its airways wide to produce loud sounds that could be heard at a great distance. The second part allowed the trachea to change shape to create different sounds, which made them look like the singing of modern birds. To this date, it is believed that the laryngeal shape of ankylosaurids is closest to the syrinx compared to other non-avian dinosaurs. If you want to imagine how they sounded, you can listen to the sounds that parrots make. Michael Chapone, a student at the University of Minnesota, approached this issue from a different angle. He decided to reconstruct another ankylosaurid, Euplacephalus. Previously, paleontologists suggested that the nasal cavity of this dinosaur could act as a resonator as well as an effective heat exchanger. Using a 3D printer, Chapon made a copy of the nasal cavity of the Euplacephalus, with several additional tubes to place the mouthpiece where the larynx was. The student was able to extract these sounds from it by blowing into the resulting model. In order to reconstruct the voices of dinosaurs, scientists have done a lot of work. The skulls were analyzed using computed tomography, and dinosaurs' fossils were compared with their living relatives. But to this day, there is no consensus in the scientific community about how dinosaurs sounded. Nevertheless, new findings and their research continue to appear, which help to make reconstructions of dinosaur voices more reliable. We try to keep track of these studies in order to use them when creating our animatronic figures. In the process of collecting information, we found many articles about dinosaur feathers and decided to make a scientifically reliable model of a dinosaur with plumage. Comment if you want to see an episode about the evolution of feathers.